Black Myth Wukong, one of the greatest games this year.
That's why he's the GOAT!
Is a game where you, as the Destined One, battle through enemies and bosses to obtain 6 relics to bring Sun Wukong back. Today, I'm going to be beating this game using only transformations. This includes spirits because they allow you to transform into their form for a short while. Guys, please note that I will be using the Destined One's physical attacks, okay? And I will be using only transformations as my spells. Why would I be doing this? Well, in a Discord call while I was talking about this game, my friend said this. Yo man, do you think I could beat Black Myth Wukong?
Bro, hell nah, that game is way too hard for you.
Oh nah, I'm gonna get you for that. This is part 4 of the challenge, which is the final part. And now after all of this effort and tiring work, taking these bosses going from chapter 1 to 5, we finally make our way to chapter 6, which is the final one of the game. We start off the chapter by making it to Mount Huaguo, which is where we originally started off in the intro of this game, and fight some Imperial guards while making our way up the mountain. I really do not know why the Celestial Court sends such fodder at us though.
You are trash!
Running far enough up the mountain, we find this freaky guy over here, called the Supreme Inspector. What confuses me is, how is he an inspector if his face and eyes are replaced by a red hand? This boss is actually really hard, not gonna lie, because of his weird attack patterns that just honestly confuse me. This boss can fly and harness a unicycle to run me over with. This guy really thinks he looks that cool, but rolls around like a clown? Damn. The second phase is really annoying, because he puts you in a ring of fire and becomes even more powerful.
I'm better! I am better!
After some drive, power, and hours, we managed to take this boss out. Then we unlock what will be the only exception for this video, which will be the cloud, because we literally cannot progress without this. After flying through the map, we make our way to this forest looking place here, and find the cloud treading deer, which looks like the deer version of the hippogriff from Harry Potter. This deer is actually known for being pretty hard, but it wasn't really that hard for me. It was mostly just annoying because this stupid deer would just sit behind his ice tornadoes for like 10 minutes. After 5 tries, we managed to take him out, which gave us Wukong's leggings. After getting his leggings, we set out to find the helmet, which comes from this giant bug here called the Fong-tailed General. I thought this was going to be a boss, but it's actually just an interactable bug that you just need to grab to get his helmet. We grab this bug and we unlock the helmet, which gives us Wukong's majestic hair thing. After this, we make our way to the gold armored rhino, which I originally thought was almost impossible because he has thick armor and a really thick horn. But after realizing you can just spam heavy attacks onto the rhino's horn so that his armor and horn crack, I found this boss really easy. After taking this rhino out, we get his golden armor, which is absolute drip. After this, we fight the hardest boss I fought in this game so far. When I flew to the swamp here, I found Zubajer trying to catch a mantis, but the mantis goes inside him. So I turned into a fly and entered his mouth to take the emerald armed mantis out. Even though this boss looked like a normal everyday boss for me, this was so hard. The problem is his second phase. His first phase is pretty easy with pretty slow and easily guessable attacks. But then when you deal enough damage, you go into a cutscene where he becomes red and bloody and becomes an absolute nightmare. The problem with him is that he becomes insanely fast, and it felt like if you got hit once, you were almost put into an inescapable combo, and you just straight up die. I spent quite a while trying to beat this stupid boss, and eventually after some absolute locking in, I managed to finally beat him. After beating the mantis, we get Wukong's hand gear, which completes the armor set, and it's time to unlock his staff. Making my way to the cave, I find this giant staff called the Jingu Bang, and we pull it out of its place and make it my own. After that, I ventured up the mountain where we encountered more of these Imperial guards and wiped them out. Getting to the top of the mountain, I find Wukong's rock shell, where I enter it and find myself in the realm of Wukong's memories. After going on a boat ride, I managed to make my way to the end of the ride, where I found Wukong's stone shell, which I had to defeat to merge into one. This fight starts off with the stone monkey, which I found pretty easy as all he does is slam the floor and occasionally use elemental attacks on me. After taking down his first phase, he clones himself and tries to beat me, but that was pretty easy too. After beating this, he turns into a grey and old looking version of Wukong called the Great Sage's Broken Shell. This boss is much more of a threat, and I was going to realize this. This boss starts off with the first phase, which is pretty simple to beat since his health is quite low. But then we get into the second phase after a cutscene. This time he has more health and defense, and now he is faster and more aggressive. This boss was really hard and took a lot of time to beat. In some runs I made it really close to beating him, but got so excited by the thought of beating him and beating the game that I ended up choking an easy W. Finally though, I locked him and took him out for good. After this, the other Wukong collapses and all of his relics merge into me and I kneel on the floor. While I'm kneeling, the old monkey comes in and puts the crown on my head and I beat the game and the challenge. This challenge was an absolute journey and I love every single moment of it. This game is one of my favorite games, even if some of the bosses made me want to break my monitor.
I swear.
I have never had to face so many challenges in a game, and this was a test of my limits. If you want to see my other insane experiences in this challenge, go watch my previous parts here.